welcome or welcome back to another exciting video here on my channel. Hopefully you are excited about the newest addition, which is, as you can see in the thumbnail, the Meerkat. But I'm taking you on a little bit of a tour of the zoo first. I showed off the aviary again, emus, obviously the geese. I mean, not the geese, what? The goats. And the alpacas and the little llama statue. That's actually not an alpaca, so that's a little different. But yeah, that's the zoo so far. It's coming along really great, actually. I love seeing the zoomed out view. You saw it there with all the trees. It just looks really like put together and like it's an actual area. Like if you imagine that there are houses all over the place around it, it could just be in a random city, you know? It could just be a city zoo. But past that, I'm now building for the meerkats. And what I wanted to do here, as you saw in the thumbnail again, I wanted to build them a little house. And so I thought about what materials might work for that, which I think since meerkats are from Africa, they should have a warm house. And I felt like that needed to be sort of a solid brick, or in this case plaster structure. So I built this little shape, this little sort of diamond looking thing. Plumb bob, I guess, if you're familiar with The Sims. But yeah, I wanted to make a little house for them, not to take up like too much space, because I do think that they like to go outside and dig and all those things. And I didn't want to take that. I'm sorry, my dog is licking me and making sounds. I didn't want to take away from their ability to dig outside. So I gave them plenty of sand, plenty of opportunities to dig, and I even textured the environment a little bit for them. I made some little hills and mounds and such, so they could have like a good space to live in. And I just made that structure a little bit taller there, just because I felt like it needed to be a little bit taller. I don't want every single thing to be exactly 4 meters tall. I would not enjoy that if that was the case. But yeah, here you can see the sand coming in to make it look obviously more African. And then I also made the fence, I also varied the height of the fence a little bit. I made it different from the viewing height of the structure house type, like the hut, I guess, that they're in. I don't really know. It's not really a hut, I guess. The like indoor area. The problem with those things is in Planet Zoo, you have to consider the hitbox of the animals. So basically the entrance to that house is a 4x4 giant hole. I wish there was like smaller little animal throughput things. Does that make any sense? Like I wish there was like a tunnel or something that you could use, that they could go through, and maybe you could somehow simulate that. Actually, now I'm wondering, I might have to, next time I build, try to put that little tunnel that they have as an enrichment item and build around it. Because in theory, like I don't know what trumps the hitbox for the animal, if the size of the enrichment item sort of trumps the blocking ability of the plaster wall or whatever wall you put there, because obviously the walls do affect where they can walk or go. But I wonder if you could use a little tunnel. Oh, I love that overview. I wonder if you could use that little tunnel. Something for another time. Again, paths are always difficult. I actually cheated a little bit at the bottom. I made the little black plaster pieces again and put them along the front there, because that looks so ugly to me. Why does it have to be that shape? Can it just, yeah, there we go. Can it just be a straight line, please? Please, Planet Zoo. I guess maybe in the second Planet Zoo game that they're coming out with, they might fix that. Hopefully. We can hope. Can you stop licking, ma'am? I think she's excited because I'm talking, and I'm not usually talking when I'm sitting here. I might have to kick her away from the microphone, actually. I'm trying to record this in one go, so unfortunately, you might have had to endure some licking sounds and some other dog noises. But anyway, I kept building. Unfortunately, here was looking for a sign that doesn't exist. I thought there was a meerkat sign, but it turns out that's this groundhog sign right here. The sign that I had envisioned was like very large, like probably 2 by 2 meters or something, and it turns out that that is not a thing that exists. They have that tiny little meerkat, they have that meerkat weird thing, and since objects aren't scalable, I can't really use any of these things. So there might be a mod. There probably is a mod to make objects scalable, but I don't have that, and so I just made do with what I could find. In the end, I gave the house some bedding and some heating lamps, which made it look really cozy, and I hope that the animals would actually like it if they were real. So, and then you can see the back here opening that is literally just a 4x4 or probably 4x5 meter long hole in the wall, because that's the only option that I could see. And I picked out a pretty color for the roof here. That didn't turn out too bad. And obviously needed some columns there to support the roof. Does anybody know why that happens, where the arrows on the moving stuff, like those Z, Y, whatever axis arrows, get a funky angle to them sometimes? I'm always confused when that happens. Like when I moved the pole from the front pole to the back pole, when I duplicated it. Oh, I made the engine smaller, actually. I didn't remember that. Yeah, but when I duplicated them and moved it back, it just did not... It looked weird. Like, why did the angle shift so much? It must have shifted to a specific angle that the game is happier with or something. But yeah, I'm confused every time that happens. And it's very annoying, especially when you're trying to move something on a specific line. And there are our meerkats. They're already coming to the zoo, and then I realized, actually, I don't have enough keepers. Like, I had keepers to bring them there, but not keepers to take care of them. And I also messed up the fence line a little bit. I had to move the null barrier. I had to move that around a little bit so they couldn't escape. Fake escape, because they weren't going to go anywhere, but the game would have thought that they were escaping. And this is the object, I guess. So you can't place it later, because it looked like it couldn't be placed in the opening there. But I wonder if you place it first, if you could then put walls around it and they could still use it and go through it, because that would be so much nicer. I guess there's one problem with that, which is that the keepers would not be able to go into the house to clean up any poop. That's probably a big issue, and that's probably why the hitboxes for the animals are so big, because otherwise the keepers can't follow them. And I don't think the keepers themselves have a hitbox. I might be wrong about that, but I have not seen that be used, really. I just think probably... Well, they can't follow the same exact hitbox as the animals, because then that doesn't make any sense for the tiny little animals like that. I don't know. Anyway, putting in some guest information, the little plaques, the little TVs, the little not nature speakers, the little informational speakers, and I had to move that TV over because it was not in the range of the electric. Yeah, there we go. Had to move it to the left a little bit, and eventually when the back part of the zoo gets more built out, I can move that back to where it was, because I'll have power there. And I added some rocks just for decoration, just to give it a little bit more texture, a little bit of a something. I don't really know what. And yeah, just another little zoo tour. I'm so happy with how it's looking so far. And then obviously the nighttime look is so cool. I did notice that there are no other light sources in this zoo other than the meerkat enclosure house. So I'm gonna have to fix that. I'm gonna have to come up with some I'm gonna have to put some street lights down so that there's more lights. But yeah, so far that's all we got, and I think that's all I have to say, all I have to babble on and on about for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Certainly glad you joined me again today. There were some videos that were really successful about Planet Zoo, and then there were some that weren't as successful, and I do wonder what the reason for that is. So please do let me know if you've been watching my videos, if any of them were better than others and what the reason for that might have been. And other than that, yep, just a little overview over the zoo again. I expanded the back of it a little bit more because I only had one hexagon left, so gonna need some more here soon. And I don't actually know what the next animal is. It might be the lemurs. That might be a spoiler. I'm not sure if it's the lemurs. I think that's what it is, but I'm not certain. You'll find out in the next video, I guess, if you join me again. Please do remember to like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you hopefully in the next one if you're wanting to stick around. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Bye!